There are many transitional forms in the symbiosis of cells, plants, insects, and animals. The divine consciousness perfected simple shaping and first movements throughout the living world, from the small tentacles and tails that unicellular organisms use for movement, followed by various creepers that carefully feel for as pot to attach. That's what it says. Feel for as pot to attach to the quick trap of a carnivorous plant. The next higher experience of consciousness and all the possibilities of existence is the world of animals. So you don't think I listen while I read. I do listen. I'm a very good listener. The divine consciousness, for the requirements of this realm, develops muscles for all possible movements. It develops forms that can crawl and jump, run, dive, and fly. Sometimes they get teleported from one place to another, the way some insects and ant queens do. The skill for movement in animals achieves a level of incredible perfection. The nature of motion in animals is based on the struggle for survival and reproduction, and in a struggle like that, consciousness experiences all possibilities of physical movement. Above all, it is a struggle because consciousness must be coerced into creating complex shapes for elementary ones. From inert mineral forming and inert plant motion, only circumstances of action and external coercion may develop forms that are capable of moving in all ways possible. They could never do that on their own. Elements are formed by outer influences, while plants are also formed and adjust to the outside environment, and the movement of animals must be set in motion by external influences and coercion as well. The initial motivation is the search for food. The result of all movement in animals is multiplying and producing offspring. With this, the purpose of animal life has been accomplished. There is barely any space in between for playing and creativity in searching for food. The divine consciousness keeps developing perception even beyond this point. Action and coercion in the form of a struggle for survival are also required in order to attain this perfection. The food chain in the animal world is the impelling force that develops perception, and together with it, the manifestation of consciousness. Sensory perception and skills of movement can be perfected in a fight of that kind only in avoiding danger and finding ways of outwitting prey. To perfect movement skills and perception, there is a constant exchange of life energy amongst animals. All animals are in the business of devouring one another. They are all food for each other. The useful and the practical have merged to achieve the best possible result, perfecting perfection and movement with food and survival. The divine consciousness in animals is experienced not only in the form of simple physical movement, it also entails will. This is the turning point where awareness of one's own will appears as though it were in motion. An animal is the type of consciousness that for the first time can of its own accord decide when and how to move. In minerals and plants, movement was always instigated by outer influences. The awareness of one's own will while moving grows into more complex structures, into entering relationships with other animals, into individual and group relationships, models of social organization, from colonies of social insects to herds, and the hierarchy with then within them to the very complex family communities and communications that develop amongst them. Ravens, for example, live in family-oriented communities. They have a language of over 800 voices. They communicate with fledglings. Stay on for 8 years with their parents before learning everything they need to know. Everyone looks after every single member of the community, and they are also capable of handling simple tools in their quest for food. There is telepathic communication in certain species, in particular the feline, but in many other species as well. Animals that live with people are even more able to manifest consciousness, to communicate with people, to recognize their moods and thoughts, to save the lives of people when they are in danger, even to sacrifice their own lives in order to save humans. Those are the moments when higher consciousness acts through the limited bodies of animals, which is a proof for the existence of higher consciousness, because the bodies of animals were not originally designed to have it. However, apart from the most complex types of movements and actions, both individual and group ones, the divine consciousness in animal forms of existence is not particularly turned toward itself in terms of phenomena, but only outward toward the objects and toward exercising all possible forms of phenomena. That is why each animal must be what it is by nature. It is unable to change itself. Only the human is capable of this.